Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome to the Dragon Ball Z special reviews. And today we will be doing a review of the Dragon Ball Z special slash One Piece special slash Toriko special crossover that they had. And this crossover, well, it's basically what you would expect. I mean, like three of the biggest shonen characters are in one giant crossover. Like three of the best series in Shonen Jump are just crossing over. So it is expected it to be one of the best. Now, I went into this knowing everything about Dragon Ball Z, knowing like a little bit of, I know enough of One Piece till the, like, up till the time skip. I don't know enough about One Piece to really, like, speak for One Piece's half. Like, I know at least all the way up till the time skip, like right before they make it to the New World. And then as far as Toriko, I know nothing. Like, in fact, I was first introduced to Toriko thanks to this special and this special alone. I do know that Toriko and One Piece apparently have, like, they're in the same universe-ish. And if you want to get technical, Dragon Ball Z is in the universe too, according to this special. But, like, I know Toriko and One Piece, like, I think Toriko begins where One Piece, like, keeps, like, in the middle of the One Piece series. So, like, they're, like, these two series are closely related, so much to the point where they had a crossover before this crossover. But since I'm speaking with this on the behalf of the Dragon Ball Z, side, then I can say that this special takes place right before the Battle of Gods movie. And it's clearly, and I'm not even just talking about production-wise, I'm talking about, like, canon-wise, because, yeah, like, all of the Z Warriors are even dressed in the outfits that they're going to wear in Battle of Gods, which I know this crossover happened, like, before Battle of Gods, in terms of production as well. So, yeah, it's just, you get to see all of the Z Warriors wearing their regular clothing and, like, stuff. You even get to see Android 18 wearing the outfit that she wears in Battle of Gods, and Krillin wearing the same gi as he's wearing in, I mean, not the gi, but the outfit he's wearing in Battle of Gods. So, in this review, I will be just reviewing mostly the plot. Like, I'm not going to be really opinionated until I get my guests together and we all discuss things, because I don't feel right doing an overall opinionated review on this crossover until we can get those two other guests here, because, you know, one of my guests knows a lot about One Piece and the other one knows a lot about Toriko, to make for an effective crossover review of a crossover special. So I'll just be going ahead and talking about the plot summary. So let's get on to it. The special begins with a bunch of pirates, hunters, and just people in general all going off in order to hunt and to have a big race. And the race is for this legendary meat that was made by the legendary cow that's eaten the most delicious of food. And in the race is One Piece and the Straw Hat Pirate crew. And then we also got Toriko's, like, group, and I have a site put up so I can name some of them. I know Toriko, obviously. I think Coco, he actually sits in the back along with Robin, with Nami. I mean, not Nami, Nico Robin. Nami's actually in the race because she wants to sell the meat for money. Sunny's in the race. I believe Ren is in the race. And a chef known as Kamatsu is in the race. So they're all in the race. And then we've got the regular Straw Hat Pirates. You know, we've got Luffy, Nami, Zoro, Sanji, Chopper, Frankie, and Brook. Usopp is sitting in the back seat for this one, as well as Nico Robin. And then for the representing the DBZ, representing the Z Warriors for this one, will be Goku, Goten and Trunks, Gohan, Android 18, and I believe that's it. Yeah, Piccolo, Krillin, they decide to sit this one. They're in the seats. They're just watching. And Vegeta is late. He didn't make it in time. So, yeah, and then there's Yamcha. He's sitting in the seats, enjoying it. And then I think TN's just sitting this one out as well. I think this was around the time that they were still trying to get a new voice actor for TN. So out of respect, I don't think he shows up actually. So yeah, that's what ends up happening. And then we've got everybody all there and they're racing. And when the race starts, like a large group of people end up getting eaten by this beetle in the sand dunes. And then they keep racing and they all head off to 3 different areas on the island. One side is like the mountain region where Luffy is climbing up the mountain as well as Toriko. And Goku's like jumping up it. And then we've got the other half where it's like a forest area where Gohan as well as this old lady. Oh yeah, I forgot there's this like old lady-esque woman. She's traveling with them to Setsuno. Yeah, this old lady Setsuno. She's with them as well as who else is with them? Kometsu. Yeah, Kometsu is with them as well. And I believe that's it as far as that side. I don't think anybody from the One Piece crew was really with them. Oh, yeah, from the One Piece crew was really with them. So they all decided to travel together. And then they end up meeting this giant, like, baboon creature, this giant monkey, and Gohan's ready to fight it. But instead, they just feed the baboon creature a bunch of food in order to eat, and then they pass him up that way. Meanwhile, we also see Sunny, and he's, like, really attracted to Nami, and Sanji's really attracted to Rin, and they're flirting, and it gets all crazy. And then Android 18 ends up getting flirted with too, but not by Sanji or Sunny. He ends up getting flirted with by Frankie, because Frankie is a robot too. So he's like, hey, I heard you're a cyborg too, and they just ditch them, and the females ditch him and call him perverts. So yeah, you get nice moments to show off each of the character traits and how similar some characters are to others. And then we see Goten and Trunks, and they're racing along with Chopper and I think, oh no, Sunny is actually with them. So there was another character that was racing with them with the pervert. Like, I'm sorry if I'm not so well with the Toriko characters. Like I said, I know nothing of Toriko at all. I do plan on watching Toriko, but it's going to be during the episode they cross over with One Piece, because I believe that's around the area where the first episode takes place anyway. So anyway, Chopper ends up witnessing Goten and Trunks do the fusion and turn into Gotenks. So Chopper gets all enthusiastic about it, and he's like, he wants to learn how to do fusion as well. So it was pretty cool. And then Master Roshi's in the race, but he's not competing. He just wanted to touch Nami's breast, so I thought that was pretty funny. It's just a lot of hilarious moments between the characters showing off a lot of their traits and how they all participate together as a group. So then, after we get all of those nice moments, we see Goku made it to the top. And he's made it to the top way before Luffy and Toriko. And King Kai tells him that he needs him to instant transmission down here so that he can take care of a creature that's destroying the galaxy. So Goku ends up leaving for a while. So it's Luffy and Toriko. And they're almost near the flag. Now you're probably wondering, from a DBZ's perspective, all of the DBZ characters can fly. Why don't they just fly? The announcer states that flying is strictly prohibited. And I also gotta say, I really like the announcer, because it's the announcer for Toriko, and they also have an announcer from the Dragon Ball Z tournaments there. So yeah, the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi announcer is there. So it's really good to see him. And then to represent the race is Hercules, aka Mr. Satan. And everybody's just like praising Mr. Satan and stuff. He's like, he's the strongest in the world. So it's cool to see that even in the other 2 universes, people see Hercules just the strongest. So I think that's freaking hilarious. And then when it comes down to the wire, Toriko and Luffy are really close to the flag. And when they're running close to the flag, Goku instant transmissions back into the race and runs with them because, wow, he had enough time to destroy whatever was destroying the Earth at the time, and then come back really fast to meet up with them in the race. Goku, Luffy, and Toriko end up grabbing the flag all at the exact same time. And because of this, they need to settle this tie. And the only way to settle it, apparently, is for all 3 of them to have a giant fight. So the finish line where the meet ends up leaving the arena, and the arena transforms into a giant battle arena. So Luffy, Toriko, and Goku all have to fight each other now since they made it to the end. So when that ends up happening, Goku winds up fighting off against Toriko and Luffy. And I say that because Luffy and Toriko kind of seem to be ganging up on Goku in this fight. That's what it kind of looks like. I mean, there's no real way to do a three-way fight correctly, but that's what it kind of seems like. Like, Luffy and Toriko fight each other too, but it's mostly like Luffy and Toriko working together to fight Goku. So Luffy ends up using his Gum powers. Toriko uses some... I don't know exactly what Toriko's powers are, but I gotta say, like, his attacks sound really cool, like the Junin Kugi Punch, which I think translates to, like, giant, like, to, like, nail punch or whatever. But it's, like, the attack sounds cool, and it's this cool little, like, punch that happens even afterwards. So, like, he hits Goku, Goku blocks the first one, but there's several, like, after attacks that hit Goku afterwards that knock Goku back. And then Goku is clearly toying with them because he hasn't even gone Super Saiyan yet. But Luffy's gone second gear. And I know what second gear is because I've watched One Piece. So I know it took Luffy going second gear to even match up to Goku. And then Luffy went third gear. I can tell he went third gear because parts of his body were expanding. And then he even did this thing that I didn't even get to witness, where his body turns into like steel. And it's called the elephant Gatling gun or whatever. And Toriko does this cool little like buff demon transformation. And apparently Hercule's fallen into the battle arena too, so he's participating in the fight as well. So people believe it's a 4-way fight when really it's a 3-way fight. So Goku winds up transforming Super Saiyan when it's funny because he has like 2 more levels afterwards he can go. But Goku ends up transforming Super Saiyan, and Goku winds up using Kamehameha. Toriko ends up using like this giant Kage Punch attack, and Luffy winds up using the Elephant Gatling gun. And when the 3 attacks collide, it blows up the entire arena, all to the point where there's only a little bit of sliver of the arena left, and Hercule's laying on it. Goku, Toriko, and Luffy have all been knocked out of the arena because of the explosion. So now, like, all 3 of them lost, and Hercule is the winner. And everybody's just like, yeah, Hercule. So in an idiotic, like, turn of events, Hercule winds up being the winner and winning the giant legendary meet. So I thought that was pretty goddamn funny. And Hercule just wins it all. But Hercule's a generous and honest man, so he decides to share the legendary meet with everyone. Z Warriors, One Piece characters, Toriko characters included. So they all have this really giant feast. And I gotta say, it's a really nice, heartwarming scene to see like Z Warriors and Straw Hat Pirates and Toriko crew just all getting together. It's just a really, as an anime fan, it's a really nice scene to just see all of your favorite anime characters and even some you don't know of all get together and just have a nice feast. It's a really great scene. Just like, we get scenes where Sanji is just flirting with all the women, and then Sunny's flirting with some women too, and he's just like showing off in stuff. And then we see like Piccolo, he's not really eating, he just doesn't care. And then what we also see is that Vegeta and Zoro actually got lost in the race, like he always does, because Zoro's horrible with directions. But he ends up running into, apparently this is one of the 4 Heavenly Kings. Coco, Sunny, and Toriko are the 4 Heavenly Kings. The 4th one, and he's a part of Toriko's crew on occasions, I'm guessing he's like the anti-hero of their group. His name is Zebra. So Zebra shows up, and he sees Zoro, and the 2 wind up having like this little argument, and then Vegeta flies in and has an argument with the 2 as well, looking for Goku. So the 3 have this giant confrontation. It's basically a battle against all the anti-heroes, and they have this big, huge like bout where Zoro ends up using like his the Onigiri hurricane sword thing, and Zebra uses like the sound bazooka attack, and Vegeta uses Galick Gun on both sides. And it's really cool to just see like the 3 big baddies of anime just fight each other. But they're never in the actual special for real, which is kind of disappointing. But afterwards, we get to a point where when after all of that's done and settled, one of the announcers or IGO members or whatever his name is, Piccolo notices that something's up, as well as Nami. Well, not Nami, darn. Nico Robin, and as well as another, I think Coco. They all notice that something's up, and it's like, why did you gather everybody here for this race for the legendary meat? And he's like, well, I wanted to gather the strongest fighters in the world because there's this threat that's coming. And what the threat is this small little fish called the Aniki. And what the Aniki is this little puffer fish, I guess you can say. And it shows up out of nowhere. And when it shows up, it looks harmless and everybody's like playing with it or whatever. But then later on, it ends up stretching out its tentacles and absorbing like Gohan, Usopp, and someone else's energy. And when it absorbs their energy, it gets bigger, and then Goku, Toriko, and Luffy try to fight it, but it ends up fleeing. So it winds up getting out of the way before they can end up fighting it. So afterwards, they try to go find it. And when they try to go find it, they learn that the Aniki is also poisonous. So once it absorbs you, you also faint because you're poisoned and your body can't really move. So they learn that this fish has the ability to absorb energy. So when they went off to go find it and kill it, they have to be, all of the warriors go off in order to find it in different areas. And I gotta say, this is really cool because we wind up getting scenes where like Sunny and Sanji are together, and obviously the two act so similar that they have to hate each other. So they end up having this big like argument between themselves, but then they end up finding the fish, the Aniki fish, and it tries to absorb their energy, but then Piccolo comes in like a boss and just knocks it. And then they're like, hey, we gotta work together. So Sanji and Sunny end up like using their attacks in order to work together. So Sunny apparently has control over like hair and stuff, so that's pretty cool. And Sanji is like walking on air and doing the cool little like attacks of his own. Then Piccolo ends up using the light grenade attack, and it's just cool to see these three work together. And the soundtrack is the one of my favorite soundtracks in One Piece being played with. It's usually played as recap music to explain what happened in One Piece. So it's cool to see the Z Warriors and Toriko characters and One Piece characters fighting to that song. So yeah. And then, but they, their attacks aren't strong enough, so they wind up getting absorbed, and that ends up happening right there. So afterwards, after they got absorbed, we see that Frankie, as well as, I want to see what other characters were with them at the time. I think it was Frankie and Ren or whatever. Either that or it was Komatsu. I know it was one or the other. Or Setsuno. I can't remember the Toriko characters that well, like I said. But I know that they were searching for the Aniki fish too. And when they were searching for the Aniki fish, they see that it's gotten way bigger at this point. So they end up getting together to fight it. And Frankie winds up using this giant like cyborg robot thing. And I gotta say, it was really cool to see. Oh, I know what happens. Brooke. It was Brooke. Brooke was with them. And Brooke ends up getting absorbed. And it's funny because Brooke keeps making jokes about, I can't believe my eyes, but I'm a skeleton because I have no eyes. And yeah, he keeps making those jokes. And then when Brooke ends up getting absorbed, Toriko comes in. Wait, not Toriko. Frankie ends up coming in. And Frankie winds up using a giant cyborg, which can't be absorbed. So for a while, it actually looks like he's got the situation under control. Unfortunately, Frankie's strongest attack requires him to get out of the cyborg robot thing, the giant robo mech. And since he got out of the robo mech, he got absorbed. And then Gotenks is like, what the hell? So Gotenks winds up using the Super Ghost Kazakami attack. And I don't know why he didn't go Super Saiyan 3. That kind of confused me. But it blows up in Aniki's face. And Gotenks is like, yeah, I'm the boss. But then he winds up getting absorbed because the attack wasn't strong enough to wipe out the Aniki fish. So when Gotenks ends up getting absorbed, all that's left at this point is Toriko, Luffy, and Goku, and they're looking for the fish. And Toriko winds up finding the fish first. So when Toriko finds the fish first, he's fighting off against it. Then Luffy joins in the battle. Then Goku shows up. But by this point, it's gotten so big that it's become a little hard to handle. So what ends up happening, Toriko, Luffy, and Goku end up fighting, and Goku transforms Super Saiyan, and Goku's just like putting in work on this thing. He's literally just going in, and they all get together and use their big attacks. Goku uses Kamehameha, Luffy uses like the elephant punch thing, and Toriko uses the Junin Kage punch, and it wipes out the fish, at least as far as we know now. So it's wiped out, and then they celebrate, and they're all like, yeah, we beat it. Unfortunately, it comes back and absorbs all of that energy, and when it comes back and absorbs all of that energy, it's back like way bigger than it was before. And this thing has become like, I think it's called Big Toro or whatever. It's giant. It's like freaking huge. And now that it's freaking huge, it's just like ripping Toriko, Luffy, and Goku apart. And it knocks them back and swats them. And Goku, Toriko, and Luffy are trying to figure out how to beat this thing because it's become way too powerful now. And they just can't handle it. So then what they decide to do, like they decide that they need to get together and find an attack that's strong enough to completely destroy this thing. And the only thing that Goku can possibly think of is to use the Spirit Bomb. Now, I gotta say, before even all of that happens and they're fighting it, Goku's at Super Saiyan, Toriko and Luffy get knocked back, and Goku's still, like, in fighting this thing, just, like, knocking this thing around, but it's knocking him back, too, so it's a pretty even fight between Super Saiyan, Goku, and that, even though Goku can still go 2 more levels. Anyway, what ends up happening is that Goku requests that that Toriko and Luffy bide some time so that Goku can wind up using the Spirit Bomb. So Goku charges up the Spirit Bomb while Luffy and Toriko bide some time, but they end up getting knocked around. And Goku's Spirit Bomb isn't charging as fast as it normally should because Big Toro is absorbing the energy from the Spirit Bomb. So then Goku requests that everybody offer up energy to Goku for the Spirit Bomb, and they wind up doing that so the Spirit Bomb gets more than big enough to take care of the job. Goku launches it, and there's a bit of a struggle between Big Toro and the Spirit Bomb. And then Toriko comes in and goes all this buff demon mode again and uses the giant double-fisted Jugi Kage no punch or whatever. And then Luffy ends up using third gear elephant punch or whatever, Gatling gun. And then Goku ends up flying towards his own Spirit Bomb, transforms Super Saiyan 3, then uses the Super Kamehameha towards the Spirit Bomb. So now this fish has to deal with a Spirit Bomb, a Super Saiyan 3 Super Kamehameha, a double-fisted Juji Kage no punch, and the Gatling gun elephant punch. And it just can't handle it all, so it ends up blowing up and ends up dying. And then once it ends up dying, it's taken out. And once it's taken out, they all end up cutting it up and eating it for dinner. And they all end up having a nice dinner together. And while they're all having a nice dinner together, they celebrate the fact that they were able to defeat it. And I've got to like this. I remember Toriko earlier in the special says that it's not just the food that tastes good. It's the fact that we're all here together eating it and having a great time. And Hercule winds up saying the same thing. And he tries to take credit for it like he's the one that said it the whole time. So it's pretty funny. So then they try to wonder where Zebra, Zoro, and Vegeta are. And they're still, like, fighting. Like, that's why they didn't show up at all in the whole big giant fish fight. Is because they were still fighting. So, yeah, that was pretty hilarious. So they're all together, and that's basically the end. We also learned that this is Goku's official birthday, too, because Vegeta actually states it in the special. He's like, I'll give him a birthday gift he'll never forget. So because of that, we learned that this happens during Goku's birthday, which obviously wouldn't be that far off from Battle of Gods then. So it's a nice little tidbit for those of y'all who ever wondered when Goku's birthday was. So yeah, and then basically that's how the special ends, and I gotta say, it's really fun to see this special. There are some conflicts I have with it, mostly due to the fact that I don't know exactly how the limits of Toriko characters are. And like I said, I'm going into this basically with no knowledge of Toriko at all, for real. Like, I know of Toriko. I know that apparently they're supposed to, like, they hunt for food. Like, they hunt for animals and stuff like that to make food. But outside of, I don't know anything, I don't know enough about Toriko to really, like, provide the information I wish I could give you guys. The only reason that this video is actually on this channel is because I count it as one of the DBZ specials, and it's a very noteworthy DBZ special. I gotta say, I know how strong One Piece characters do get, and this is around the level that it gets One Piece wise. Now, here's where we come to the issue of Dragon Ball Z. Goku was nerfed. I'll say that. And I'm pretty sure this debate will go off when I bring the other two guests here to do the second half of the review. But I gotta say, like, I did expect a lot more from the DBZ characters because I know how strong they are. Like, Gohan getting wiped out by the Yanaki fish wasn't really cool with me because we know damn well Gohan's stronger than this. And then, I feel Gotenks could have done more. He can go Super Saiyan 3 for Christ's sakes. Goku went Super Saiyan 3 in the special, but only towards the end. Now, this was before the Battle of Gods movie, so obviously we're not expecting him to go Super Saiyan God at all. We're not expecting, like, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, because Resurrection F wasn't even thought of yet. So, yeah, I can see that Goku was nerfed to a degree, but even in the fight beforehand, when they all three were fighting each other in the tournament, we could clearly see that Goku was playing with them. He went Super Saiyan 1, which increases his base form by 50, but we all know that he has Super Saiyan 2, which increases him further times double of that, and Super Saiyan 3, which is triple of Super Saiyan 2. So let's not fool ourselves. Goku could have been a lot stronger than the other two. But then again, we don't know exactly how strong Toriko is, or at least I don't know how strong Toriko is. Maybe he has a form that far exceeds this at the time of this special. And Luffy, I know that we're reaching around Luffy's limits because he used the Elephant Gatling gun, which is his strongest move of the time of this special, I believe. So yeah, I gotta say it's a decent special. It's really, like, it's not meant to be taken super duper hyper serious. It's just meant to be like, hey, we've got all the cool shonen characters together. I gotta say the art direction for this one was kind of wonky too, because when you cross over animes with two different art styles, it does get kind of weird. Like, I know I was watching sorry, my cat scratched me. I know we were watching I was watching the One Piece, not One Piece, darn it, the Detective Conan and Lupin the Third special, and it got kind of wonky because Lupin the Third characters are drawn in a certain way, and Detective Conan characters are drawn in a certain way as well. So putting the two together got kind of weird because they're all three different art styles. So it was kind of odd to see, like, Goku in the same area as Luffy because it felt like Goku's body was a bit more stretched out to fit with the One Piece characters. And Toriko characters with One Piece didn't seem so far off, only because I believe Toriko and One Piece are, like, really related. I do have to say that Toriko's really buff in comparison to a lot of One Piece characters, but still within the range style of Dragon Ball Z characters. So yeah, it was just kind of weird to see these three drawings mixed together. But other than that, it was a really good special. Like, it was full of nice moments. Like, if you're a fan of all three of these specials, then I'm sure you're in for a treat. I mean, there's gonna be some things that were taken out from all three series that you'll be disappointed in. Would I recommend this? I would not recommend this if you've never watched Dragon Ball Z or One Piece or Toriko. Obviously, I went into this not watching Toriko, so I was left with a bunch of things that there were probably a lot of, because if you look around, you'll see a lot of cool Easter eggs too. And there's no time to point them all out, otherwise we'll be here for hours. But, like, I do like the little, like, attention to detail that certain things had. in it, so it was pretty cool to see all of those nice touches in this special. Obviously, I would only recommend this, though, if you've watched at least 2 of the 3 series. Because I've watched One Piece to a large degree. I just haven't, finished it because One Piece is long. And it's still ongoing, and it's a really long series. God. And Dragon Ball Z, obviously, Dragon Ball Z's been going since 1989, so there's definitely some noteworthy things in there. And then there's Toriko, which I know nothing about, but I will say this special definitely got me interested in Toriko. I'm more willing to watch Toriko now than I was before the special, because Toriko's always been on the back burner in terms of anime I was going to watch. It's just I haven't watched One Piece up to the point to where I have to. Now, I know the guest that I invited said I technically don't have to watch that crossover between One Piece and Toriko in order to watch Toriko. It's just, I feel it would be right to watch it right at that point. And besides, I don't want to get into Toriko too soon and wind up in anime lock. So, yeah, I enjoy all 3 of these series, even though I haven't seen Toriko yet. But I am interested in Toriko thanks to this special. So, yeah, it's a nice big just anime fest for you. It's really good. I think it's about, from what I watched, I believe it's 30 minutes to an hour long. Is it 30 minutes? I think it's 30 minutes. And it's really enjoyable. So, yeah, a lot of great moments, a lot of memorable, all the characters in each series are memorable. Even knowing nothing about the Toriko characters, I can believe that, a lot of their quirks that they were doing during the special were very quirky and they were very memorable, and I can see a big Toriko fan having a nice time watching this. So, yeah. It's got something for everybody. I'm pretty sure it's taken something from each series out, though, that kind of disappoints people. But overall, within itself, it was a nice big juicy anime party for everyone to have. It's definitely something you all would a bunch of people would love to get together and watch if they just want to see their favorite series come together for a nice crossover. Anime crossovers are always good because, in the end, a lot of big anime fans watch these series, so to see these worlds collide is very cool. So, with that being said, I will see you all then, everybody. I'm basically done with the Dragon Ball specials. They haven't made any other memorable specials as of now. So when I get back to you all, we will be reviewing the Dragon Ball Z saga. So I know you all be pumped for that. See you all then, everybody. Can't wait to review each of the sagas of Dragon Ball Z. I'll see you all then. Tyrone the God 3 out.